Welcome once again to Headphone Happy Hour for a very special episode. Not only are we talking about the brand new Dan Clark Expanse, but...
That's not fair. He made me laugh.
Oh.
Do you love it?
Me or her? Her.
Start the video with you crying.
She's crying. Here. Here's a Moon Audio hanky.
Oh, you're really crying.
I'm not crying. We're just so happy to have Drew back.
Welcome once again to Headphone Happy Hour for a very special edition. Not only are we going to be talking about the brand new Dan Clark Expanse, but we're also going to be revealing the grand prize winner of our Sony WH-1000 XM5 and Dragon Cable giveaway. That's a mouthful. Stay tuned for the announcement later in the video, but for now, let's talk about the Expanse, Can Jam SoCal this past weekend, and all things Headphone Happy Hour.
What are we drinking?
Looks like we've got Founders All Day IPA. Why?
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 Well,
Yeah, why?
this headphone, like all Dan Clark headphones, is so super comfy. You can wear it all day. All day, all day.
All day.
Why does it have to be an IPA? Really?
Well, I like IPAs.
like
Okay.
So let's talk about the Expanse. So we all know Sarah is a big fan of all things Dan Clark, and this is probably our favorite of all of the Dan Clark headphones.
I am a big fan of Dan Clark. The first Dan Clark that I listened to was the Aeon 2, which, as you can see, if you're familiar with the Aeon 2, this...
You okay, Rick?
I'm fine.
Ricky's got issues
No, I'm
today.
good.
You know, the teardrop-shaped ear cups, the super comfortable, just the folding gimbal design, if you want to see that.
Nice.
And comfy, comfy, comfy.
Yeah.
But, here, help me with that.
It happens every time.
Yeah.
But what good is comfort if they don't sound good? And they do.
Very detailed, very resolute, very quick, very light on their feet. Yeah, great sounding headphone. You know, based on our listening test with this headphone, I found that not only this headphone, but the Dan Clark Stealth are stellar matches for the TX UD701 headphone amp DAC, which was not only a huge hit at the last headphone show at Axpona, but also at this one too. The pairing of these two headphones with that amp DAC are just stupendous. And I really like these with the Black Dragon. I think they add a little bit of warmth and coloration in a good way, a little more character, fullness, a little more bottom end weight to the headphones. Great pairing, like the beer I'm about to taste.
Yeah, and so a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot, some people online have been calling the Expanse an open back stealth. But Dan Clark has made it clear, and you can tell from listening to it, it's not just an open back stealth. If it were, they would have called it the stealth open back. It is a distinct headphone with a different sound signature.
Yeah. I mean, let's not get confused with some of his older models, which were basically a closed and open back version of whatever he was doing at the time. Yeah, this is a totally different headphone. You know, we've had this kind of confusion with a lot of brands actually lately with the Empyrean and the Empyrean, not,
The Elite.
you know, we wanted to call it the Empyrean Elite, but it's actually the Empyrean and the Elite, two different headphones. You know, the Utopia and the Stealth, the Utopia and the Stealth. The Utopia and the Stelia, in my mind, based on the sound characteristics, really are a closed back and an open back Utopia, but they called it a Stelia. I think those are a lot closer in regards to that, open versus closed combination being the same thing. But yeah, these are definitely not the same headphone at all.
Now, are they using the same driver technology? They're just tuned differently? Or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, the way when he designed the driver, it wasn't okay. Let's play with this driver and see if we can turn it into an improved version of the closed back. This is a totally new driver, and tunings, everything's different. There's nothing the same. So anyway,
Now, one thing, just real quick, speaking to driver technology, one thing that manufacturers will do to get more detail is to artificially pump up the top end. And they make a point of saying they have something called their AMTS, their acoustic metamaterial tuning system, which I'm not going to get into any sort of depth about that, but that is what they use rather than overly boosting the top end to get that all of that detail.
Right, because we don't want something that's going to be a little too harsh on the top end. Don't want too much sizzle. Don't want the S's to go, you know, we don't want top end energy to become a problem. And, you know, essentially it becomes, you know, you don't want to wear it for long periods of time. And like we're stating, all day IPA, you can wear these all day without fatigue. There's not a whole lot of top end energy fatigue that makes you want to take them off. Great headphone.
Yeah.
As usual, I listen to a lot of Americana, jazz, blues, acoustical with them. A couple of rock and roll songs. I'm sure it's great for everything, though.
Now, you said they pair well with the 701s. I mean, are they?
Yeah, UD701 is
lot
a
of power?
great amp DAC. No, very, you know, they're definitely
efficient?
a lot easier to drive than typical Dan Clark headphones. You know, some of the other ones, you know, they're not big on telling you the specs on their headphones. They don't want you to get bogged down in numbers, which, you know, I'm a big fan of that in some regards. You know, let's not listen to headphones based on measurements. Let's listen to headphones based on how they sound.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so at the end of the day, do you like them? Do you not like them? You know, that's the most important thing.
Now, is there something, for those who are not familiar with Dan Clark, is there something about the ear cup shape that's special in how it sounds?
Well, I mean, going with, you know, a more oval design from a comfort standpoint and from the ability to cup your head properly so that the back of the ear pads don't stick out. You know, that you have that problem a lot with circular ear pads. You know, our heads aren't perfectly round on the sides, right? And so we want to try and isolate as much as possible and get those up ear cups to, you know, cause a good sort of seal, if you will, to keep from having any kind of, you know, changes of what's going on with the driver pushing air in and out of your where your ear canal is and so forth. And so that can make a huge difference. The oval pads, you know, headphones that have more of an oval shape tend to do a better job, in my opinion. So bravo. I think he's done a wonderful job. Great to see those guys at the show this past weekend. They were really excited about the headphones too. Obviously they made them, but you know, there was a lot of talk about it at the show. They were a huge hit. So congratulations to those guys.
Now, sorry, I'm going to put you on the spot. I know you're a big fan of Dan Clark. Why? What is it about the headphones, particularly the Expanse, you know, that you like about Dan Clark headphones?
Well, I have multiple ways of answering that. As I mentioned, the comfort, and that's such a subjective thing, but the very first pair that I put on, which was the Aeon 2s, they just work for me. And again, I mean, we all have different shaped heads and whatnot. It's just my thing. Yeah. I like planar magnetics. Just to get really personal for a second, I think that Dan Clark and I kind of like the same type of music, if that speaks to the way the headphones are tuned and how it resonates with me. You know, we all have things. I mean, I like a variety of headphones, but I definitely find these to be among my favorites.
Yeah.
And love the design on these as well. This computer-generated grill that they did, the teeny tiny holes. It's just really cool looking. But yeah.
So, let's go back to Can Jam. Was there anything else you saw that got you excited? Is there anything else you want to talk about, just how the weekend went?
Yeah, so first of all, this is probably the most successful Can Jam for the guys that put it on, Jude and Ethan and Joe and Brian and those guys. They did a fantastic job. I think they said that they had a record turnout. It was probably the largest Can Jam turnout, not only vendors, but also people at the show. Great show, 2 days. Great to see everybody again. I mean, some of these people we haven't seen in years because of COVID, right? And, you know, the Can Jams are not just about, you know, going to listen to audio and checking out the latest gear, but it's all about family there. I mean, you know, all these people that we work with in the industry, we all get to know each other very well, and it's a social event as much as it is finding new toys. So I think everybody had a great time. A lot of the customers said, you know, it's been the best turnout in terms of all kinds of really cool toys to play with. We had probably one of the largest booths that we've ever had at a Can Jam, because unfortunately we missed Can Jam New York because with the COVID and all that stuff that was going on with the Delta virus, we chickened out and didn't go. So we had 4 booths at this show, so it was a massive display. We took everything. I got a little bit in trouble for the shipping charges, but well worth it. Had a great time. Can't wait to see everybody again at the next one. So
cool.
Good times.
Well, I guess it's time.
For what?
For the big announcement.
Oh, the big announcement.
The big announcement.
Right. So we finished our giveaway for the new Sony XM5s. I think it's maybe time to announce the winner. Ooh, thank you, Ross. And the winner is Peter M. from Southampton, PA.
That's where Penn State is, baby.
Okay. So a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our YouTube channel and followed us over the years. As of this week, we have reached 10,000 subscribers, and we couldn't be more thankful. So everyone, thank you for your support. So regarding the giveaway, if you're the winner, that's you, Peter. Congratulations. And if you were one of the first 50 entrants, be sure to check your email for a special $50 discount code to use in our shop at moon-audio.com. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video and following our channel. Be sure to stay tuned for more giveaways and more Headphone Happy Hours coming soon.
If you got any questions about anything we talked about today, make sure to leave your questions below.
Any recommendations for gear and headphones that we should pair with any particular drinks? Let us know too in the comments.
Yeah, and we've got a little time to plan. This is our final episode of our premiere season of Headphone Happy Hour, but we will be back in the near future, so we hope to see you then.
Stay tuned, like, subscribe, all that stuff.
And cheers.
And cheers.
Cheers. I'm not drinking that.